All right, let's jump right in. Sometimes the biggest, most profound stories aren't in the epic battles or the grand miracles. Sometimes they're hidden in plain sight, tucked away in a single verse you might just read right over. Today, we're decoding what I like to call a cosmic cliffhanger from the book of Genesis. It's a story about a journey that was started with a huge purpose, but for some reason was never finished.
So here it is, Genesis 11, verse 31. Terach, who is Abraham's father, he packs up his whole family. The destination is crystal clear. They're heading to the land of Canaan. But then, something strange happens. They get to this place called Haran, and they just stop. They settle down. The great quest is just abandoned halfway through. Why? What happened? This one little verse is the start of a really deep mystery.
Now, what's so fascinating is, when you have a biblical puzzle like this, your first move is usually to see what the great historical commentators have to say about it. But in this case, the plot only thickens when you notice who isn't saying anything at all.
Rashi. He's the master commentator, the absolute first stop for any serious student of the text. And on this verse, he is totally silent. Not a word. Now, in the world of biblical analysis, Rashi's silence is never just empty space. It means one of two things. Either the meaning is so ridiculously simple that it doesn't need explaining, or the deeper point is so important that it's going to be unpacked later on in the story. So which one is it?
And this is exactly where the later commentators step in. They see that silence from Rashi, and they start to fill in the gaps, giving us this first layer of meaning, this classical way of understanding Terach's journey as a kind of necessary warm-up act for his son's destiny.
So let's break it down. First, you've got the simple reading. Terach starts the journey, he gets the ball rolling, setting the stage for his son, Avram, to finish the job later when he gets that call from God. Then, the Midrash adds this amazing, dramatic backstory. This wasn't just a move, it was an escape. Avram had smashed up his father's idols, and the whole family was on the run from the tyrannical King Nimrod. So they weren't just looking for a better life, they were fleeing a whole culture of false worship. And this leads right into this symbolic reading. Terach becomes this figure of human potential, but also human limitation. He has the vision to leave the old world, but he just can't get all the way there.
And this just sums it up perfectly. The moral lesson is so powerful. Terach's greatness was that he started. He left. Avram's destiny was to pick up the torch and keep going. It kind of suggests that our own spiritual journeys are often built on the brave, even if they were incomplete journeys of the people who came before us. But believe it or not, this is just scratching the surface.
Because now we're going to pivot. Big time. We are leaving the world of maps and physical places, and we're diving deep into the realm of the soul. See, according to the mystics, the kabbalists, this verse, it's not about a family road trip at all. It's actually a secret map of your own inner spiritual journey.
In this mystical reading, everything changes. Every name, every single place in this verse, it stops being a historical fact, and it becomes a symbol for a state of mind, a state of your soul. Suddenly, this isn't a story about them way back when. It's a story about us right now.
Okay, so this right here on this slide, this is the whole key. This is our mystical map. Terach becomes the old, limited part of our thinking, our past. Avram is that new spark of awakening that we all feel inside. Kasdim, the starting point, that's the fire of our ego and all our confusion. Haran, the place where they stopped, that's a really dangerous spiritual limbo. And Canaan, the final destination, that's the state of a perfected, whole heart.
Let's look a little closer at Terach. He represents our personal past. All the conditioning, the old habits, the small-minded thinking that we come from. This part of us, it can see that we need a change. It can even pack the bags and start the journey. But on its own, it just doesn't have the spiritual juice to get all the way to the finish line.
And where does this journey begin? From a place called Kasdim, which literally means the fires of the Chaldees. This is the soul's grand escape from everything that burns us up inside without giving us any light. Our ego, our worst habits, our chaotic and burning passions. Leaving Kasdim is always the first step.
But then, we get to Haran. And I gotta tell you, this might be the most dangerous place on the entire map. It's not a bad place. In fact, its danger is that it's a good enough place. It's our psychological comfort zone. We've made some progress, we've changed a little, so we settle. It's the land of partial transformation, and it's where so many epic journeys just quietly fizzle out.
The goal, of course, the whole point of the journey was Canaan. And in this mystical reading, Canaan isn't a plot of land.
It's a state of being. It's the perfected heart. It's that beautiful state of inner peace where our own personal will finally lines up with a higher, divine purpose. It is the soul's ultimate destination. So, what on earth does this 3,000-year-old story have to do with you and me right here, right now? Well, this is where the ancient text holds up a mirror to our own lives.
The Zohar, which is the foundational text of all Kabbalah, puts it just like this. Every single one of us is on this journey. We all start in some kind of darkness, and we are all moving toward a brighter dawn. The question isn't if you're on the journey, it's where are you on the map?
I want you to take just a second and really think about this. What is the Kasdim that you've already left behind? What past life, full of fire and confusion, have you bravely managed to escape? And now for the harder question. What is your Haran? Where have you gotten comfortable? What habit, what half-truth, what good enough situation is keeping you from reaching your true potential, your canon?
Because here is the absolute core of it all. When the soul settles in Haran, it literally halts the divine flow. It stops its own growth dead in its tracks. And the only thing that can get it moving again is a new call, a little nudge from above. In the story, this happens in the very next chapter, when God says to Avram, Lech Leka, go for yourself, continue the journey.
And so we end with this question. And it's not an accusation, it's really an invitation. You have already shown incredible courage. You have left your Kasdim, but the journey isn't over. The question this ancient verse is asking every single one of us today is this: are you settling in Haran? And if the answer is yes, are you ready to hear the call to keep going?